Okay, so I would like to preface this by saying that technically, between the end of this LP and this bonus episode, I did change computers. However, I do not count that as a Fire Emblem LP murdering my computer, because it did get switched out to a basically identical model, just with a battery that's less likely to kill the computer and possibly me. Anyway, though, yes, here we are, the last bonus episode. We've got actually quite a few things to cover. I mean, most of them are supports, of course, but there's one more thing that I neglected to show up until this point, and quite frankly, I probably should have shown a long time ago. Also, here are some of the characters you won't really be seeing. Even Fina. I used her a lot at the beginning, and she's really good. Unfortunately, I never, used her. She's very strong, but has never really gotten into a fight. Anyway, though, here's Medea. She was okay in the endgame, though, of course, as I said in her bio, she doesn't have much time to grow, both in terms of the number of chapters you have left before the game just ends, and also her starting level. It's very high. So, yeah, consequently she was an okay unit at best. Had a lot of trouble killing things. Also here, of course, is the tragic scene in which we reject a hat. Normally I wouldn't do this to the canonically great hat. The Avatar says it herself. She just says it's a great hat, and I believe her. But alas, we have to leave the poor hat behind. Ymir says that a lot, and I think he does mind. Well, anyway, I'm actually not the biggest fan of Medea's conversations, so I guess real quick I could go into some things about the ending, since even if you're just watching this in playlist order, I've completed the game. Hooray! But anyway, yeah, now you can see why I was all cough side eyes about Est's relationship to Abel, because in the ending she just leaves him. Though, also, to be fair, Est is, under 18, canonically. I'm fairly certain Abel's over, so honestly, it wasn't a great relationship in its formation, and that's not even counting the fact that there's, no chemistry between the two of them whatsoever. So, not really a big deal. Do kind of wish it got more into what Est actually did after she left, but whatever. Nintendo's very much against changing character endings, even in the remakes when they should be changed. Cough Mathilda's ending. As for the rest of it, I don't know, I get why Marth has to rule over all of Arcania. It's not so much that I mind the fact that he basically just becomes the king of, Arcania the continents, but the fact that I kind of actually liked the other rulers, and I kind of wish all of their endings didn't just involve them ceding their thrones to him. At the very least, I kind of wish they were allowed to have more influence, that sort of thing. I mean, in certain endings throughout the series it makes sense for the characters, but here, they do set up, Minerva's regrets and her guilt over just her entire family's deal, where it's okay, I still would like to see more out of her. But Shima doesn't really get to do anything. The game says her people really love her, but then it's okay, you complete her chapter, and she just says, okay, Marth, Graal's yours now. And then, of course, Hardin's whole thing is just, hey, here's some character assassination, Hardin's evil now. Okay, well, now that he's dead, obviously, Marth is the ruler of Arcania. Because Nina is, as always, too depressed to rule. She's just gonna leave. She doesn't need this shit anymore, she's moving on. I mean, I guess on the bright side, like, Orlis, alright, I'll give you that one. Orlis isn't nearly fleshed out enough for me to say, oh no, King of Orlis, please, no, you can't give up your position. You completely unnamed character, you. You character who doesn't even have a name in the supplemental materials. He's still just called King of Orlis. Like, even the King of Talus has a name. His name's Moston. There you go. You never actually hear it in the games, but at least he has something. Alright, so that's Avatar and Est. Do we have anything else? Oh yes, of course, Shima and, Victoria. Wow, we're just finishing a whole lot of these. Anyway, Shima's real embarrassed about a doll. God. Shima, please, you gotta calm down. They were all level 1. They sucked ass. You can't train your soldiers is what I'm trying to say. I mean, if Geel were still on the throne, they would have booked it out of there in seconds. Honestly, like, even if the doll weren't a memento, like, who cares? It's a doll, it's fine. Adult or no, you can just have the doll. It's okay. Well, that's a line to go out on. Also, I like cute things too. Well, I guess that means we both have a lot in common. Alright, I believe this is Katri and Est 3, right? You were trying to crush your resentment and also my ribs? Oh wow. Dang. Get out, nerd. Well, I mean, technically speaking, normally it would be Marth, but we did get Katri and Victoria 3 a while ago. So it's a slightly different answer this time, even though, you know, there's no actual, like, pairing support, so it's still just as unhealthy as all our other relationships, unfortunately. Katri always gets the short end of the stick, and it sucks. Wait, but how? All three of you have very different color schemes. That lady must have had the wildest hair. I mean, that's a little fucked up. Anyway, here's Rosha. We're only going to see one conversation of him because, as usual, he came up and has everyone, and he's just one of those characters who has so little time in the game that it's really easy to build a support with him. He does have a really nice support, though. Rosha actually seems alright. I like him. Though also, man, I really feel bad for that third alternate dimension in which we murdered Rosha. Those poor kids. Ah, and here we go. So, Garneth. Thing is, our resistance is ridiculous. It's easily one of the best in the game, so yeah, we could tank a shot from Garneth, it's fine. So, before we go on, there is stuff under bonus content that I haven't covered. I of course did all the bonus chapters, but there are also items that you can put in your convoy. We have the growth drop, the bond drop, and the rainbow potion. So, you can only transfer these items to a save file once, but they're all fairly useful in their own way. So, let's check them out. So, we've got the Rainbow Potion, which is a stat-boosting item that has 77 uses. That's a lot. That's more than you really need for the entire game. The Bond Drop gives you all of a character's support conversations. And the growth drop, as it said back there, gives you better growth rates. So you better believe I'm giving it to Minerva because she's my favorite. To be fair, I also gave Shima a lot of good stuff as well. Namely the boots. The boots are really useful for her. So, gonna give Astram the Bond Drop, and I mentioned the last episode that we'd be seeing more of him, and I figured since we'd already started the conversation with him, that we might as well finish it. But Astram's also got two other support lines, one with George and one with Medea. I actually gave him the Bond Drop mainly because I was curious about his support with Medea, and it's okay. He and Medea have a dynamic very similar to the one between Clive and Mathilda in Echoes, but I do kind of prefer that game's version of the relationship. That being said though, even while I do very much prefer Clive and Mathilda as a couple, Astram as a character is actually better than I thought he was? Like, obviously I will never stop making fun of the heads will roll line, because he uses it a lot. I mean, sure, yeah, it's 2 times, which you might not think is much, but it's enough to be noticeable. Like, how many people use heads will roll once in their life, let alone twice? Astram being kind of thick-headed is actually something they bring up in story. He's very fixated and stubborn. The thing about Astram is, like, he does legitimately seem to acknowledge his faults, and he tries to grow. It's just he's in the middle of it, so he's still kind of a twit at times. Yeah, it's that one I gave the really long name to. I need to see your sweet tricks, George. Please show me. Also, I kinda like George now. Yeah, no, that was just a complete accident. But it was pretty cool, right? I mean, you looked at him in the face, right? Hey, what do you know? For once, he's actually going to tell George immediately. Normally, they'd wait like 3 fights to have this talk. Heh, a little. Oh, Astram, you're hilarious. I don't think he thinks enough about it, actually. Because if he gave it more than 2 seconds of thought, he would not have helped Harden. Just, you know, not people with black eyes with red pupils, because they are actual literal demons. Trust people, and also be a little less of a twit. Alright, so next off, we're going to be finishing up his conversation with the Avatar. Last time he was like, something 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 duel. You know, I stood at the bottom of the map for like 3 chapters. I think we should continue that. You go over there, and I'm just going to be here in a very menacing fashion for like 10 minutes before I finally decide to just go over there and fuck you up. Your motherfucking life ends 30 minutes from now. God damn it, why didn't I go with that immediately? Alright, when you're ready to punch me in the face, oh buddy, I'll be ready. Did you? Just saw Astram standing off in the distance like, I'm gonna murder that guy. God. See, this is why I don't actually hate Astram. I don't know how to talk to people well, so I was hoping you'd kick my ass and then that'd make you feel better. I'm very bad at this. I mean, yeah, probably. Duel me isn't usually something you say to somebody you like. But before we get to Astram and Medea, we actually do have one more conversation with Medea and the Avatar. Katarina, Katria, Cecil, Linde. I mean, Luke isn't really much of a deceiver. That guy sucks. Anyway, yeah, that entire conversation's just I don't care enough about it to describe it any other way than just whatever. Meh. We actually have a pretty good budget, Astram. God, I love this conversation, though. Man, Altia's soldiers really suck. We're the best, though. Actually, wait, they're kind of growing, aren't they? Dang. Hey, about that, Astram. I haven't used you at all since you joined. Altia's knights suck ass. Oh wait, no, they're getting too good too fast. Please, stop praying for Marth. He's gotten too powerful. So, one reason I definitely prefer the relationship between Clive and Mathilda is that Mathilda could definitely kick Clive's ass. Both in fiction and in terms of stats. Mathilda's like, the best in Echoes? She kinda just stomps over everything. I don't know, maybe I just got super lucky, but she was nigh unkillable. The other reason, though, is because, like, Clive and Mathilda always seem to like each other. Astram and Medea both really hated each other when they first met. Which, alright, that's an okay dynamic. Like, they've both grown from when they first met each other. But also, if you're just going to have the ridiculously lovey-dovey couple, I kind of just prefer it like it's done in Echoes. Yeah, I just met this really tough woman. Like, day one, she kicked a tree over, and I was like, that is exactly my type. This one ends pretty well, though. It's always nice when you see, like, a married couple in any bit of media whose, like, conflict isn't, hey, they're just yelling at each other a whole lot. Here, Astram's just very self-conscious because he's been so wrapped up in the war that he hasn't been able to give time to Medea. And that one's actually interesting. Anyway, though, here are Garneth's alternate dialogues. So, of course, Marth doesn't stand a chance against Garneth given he doesn't use magic in Dolhr. And here's Garneth's conversation with the Avatar, who is going to obliterate him. Yeah, look at that, holy shit. You will hardly make a dent in me. Even if you had hit, that wouldn't have done shit. And hey, guess what? There's more than half of Garneth's HP. And he's dead now. He is just dead. Garneth, you don't even know that you've been killed. So, while either Linde or Katarina I feel deserve that kill more, just gonna have my buff self-insert take that victory. So anyway, here are the stats for the final chapter of the game. Yes, Marth had 99 experience at level 29. One more battle would have gotten him to max level. And also, yes, I did have 3 maxed out stats. Yes, my avatar is ridiculous. Cecil's good as always. You know, she's not Paula, of course. She's only got 2 maxed out stats, but, you know, she's not half bad. She still decimates everything. Okay, to be fair though, Est is also really good as always. And to be honest, I probably should have let her promote to a Draco Knight so she could have had higher strength. I don't really give Est enough credit for being ridiculous. Because Paula's amazing, but also, to be fair, frickin' Est. Est has 4 capped out stats. That's extremely good. And yeah, I never used Seda after promoting her. I had much better Pegasus Knights, unfortunately. So, here's what happens if you try to kill the clerics yourself. They all have their own unique death lines, but I won't show those off just yet, because I wanted to show off their intro dialogue when you fight them. Except the thing is, if I could choose a character and not kill Maria with a White Wing, because that would be fucked up. Yeah, they all have the same intro lines. So here's what happens when you kill Medius when the clerics are dead. Medius crumbles away, as per usual. After getting crit in this file as well, Marth just can't stop critting him. So, you want to know what happens? Absolutely fucking nothing. Marth, your sister, is dead. Alright, so anyway, here's what happens when you kill Medius without saving the clerics first. I'm gonna glue you to my body real quick, hold on a sec. And I get a level up off of that. Oh boy. I got buffer for my final level. So anyway, yes, any remaining clerics will be killed if you try to kill Medius early. I don't know how he's healing by setting them on fire, but whatever. So because all of the clerics are still alive, he's going to first fully heal, and then he's just going to kill Elise out of spite. You'd think he would have saved her just in case he needed another healing. In all honesty though, Medius is actually kinda tough even on normal mode. He's got enough HP to tank some hits, especially with his good defense, and he's fast enough where you probably won't double him, even if you're fairly quick yourself. So even if he took some nerfs from the SNES days, he can actually stand up to your normal units. The problem is, I keep critting him to oblivion every time, and he is so weak to that. I can't stop critting Medius. Well, Medius, you keep going down like a chump. Maybe you wouldn't if I actually played hard mode, but I didn't. So you're just going to keep jobbing every time. And unfortunately, that was my last level up. I would have preferred to get the unnecessary extra muscle from that other level up that I got, but I didn't. And so, with that last save, I'm done with this file. But first, here's my record. So, that's it for the alternate file and the bonus episodes of Fire Emblem 12. This has been a really fun LP, except for that one part where I burnt myself out on it because I had to record the bad ending. I said I wouldn't, and then I did, and I regret it. Oh well. Other than that, it's been fun. Oh yeah, and also, I know I'm on normal mode and all, but that's a AAA rank. Thank you and good night.